When Midoriya decided to take over the world, in meme form, by Snowboo69, read by My Lost and Found. Summary. So far, Midoriya Izuku had created a Gen Z humor cult, and it was limited to UA staff/students and some pro heroes. So now he decides to spread it further than just UA. Or even just Japan. I mean, how hard is it to be the leader of a worldwide cult? It couldn't be that hard, right? AKA, Midoriya Izuku literally does take over the world with the sole power of Gen Z humor and memes. This is part of a series, but you don't need to read the others before this one. This podfic is about 3,000 words and 1 chapter. It is rated teen and up audiences, and no archive warnings apply. This is part 5 in the series, in which Midoriya Izuku is a Gen Z in spirit. As always, link to the fic is in the description, and on with the story. Chat names are as follows: The Rock, Kirishima; Pikachu on drugs, Kaminari; Music for ears, Jiro; Pink Growl, Mina; Hoomst, Hagakure; Cinnamon Roll, Izuku; Fluffy Cat, Shinso; A Murder, Tokoyami. Class 1A was taking a hike today, for once trying to be a calm and semi-normal hero class. Although they were far from normal. Instead, the entire hike was spent with basically everyone quoting their favorite vines or memes. Midoriya had thrown in something about world domination, but that was simply another joke, right? Of course it was. No way could the class cinnamon roll do that. Sometime along the way, Kaminari pulled out his phone, which, where had he gotten that? Aizawa Sensei had taken all of their phones so that they would enjoy the goddamn nature, whatever that meant. But that's not the point. Kaminari held up his phone and pointed it towards Bakugo. "Do you ever want to talk about your feelings, Tien?" Bakugo looked either pissed or confused. His emotions were hard to read. And then just responded with, "No." Midoriya spoke up, where he was walking right behind Bakugo, basically dragging Shinso along with him. "I do." Kaminari swung the phone back a bit to get Midoriya's face. "I know, David," Kaminari stated, probably filming Bakugo, and Midoriya pouted and said, "I'm sad." Kaminari again moved back to Midoriya, and almost laughing Shinso, who just said, "We know, David." Then a small beep occurred, probably Kaminari ending the recording, before Bakugo started chasing Kaminari around like a serial killer. Class 1A was driving back from said hike when the bus they were on started to pass a cemetery. Everyone was quiet before Midoriya started to yell, "The cemetery is hiring! The cemetery is hiring!" At this point, Midoriya was standing up, hands pressed to the window, while the Deku squad were trying to hold him back. Aizawa Sensei just sighed and fell back asleep. Uraraka, Ida, and Todoroki were all just repeating, "No, no, no." Then fucking Shinso joined in Midoriya, with both of them yelling, "The cemetery is hiring. Don't mind if I fucking do." When Eri first woke up, she saw Deku. He said he and her were going to the mall. Mike was supposed to be here to drive them in a few minutes, and they were just waiting now. A small blue car pulled up, and Mike rolled down the windows. "Get in, losers! We're going shopping!" Deku yelled back, "Hell yeah!" Mike got all pouty and mumbled, "That's my thing." Eri giggled. Ida's house was nice. Nicer than Todoroki's house. It still seemed like a rich, clean, traditional house, but it also kept the homey look. The Deku squad had all been invited over to his house to just hang out. They were all being normal teenagers and just having fun. Then, at some point, Uraraka had asked if they had any snacks or water in the house. Ida stood up fast, looked towards the door, and while presumably sprinting into the kitchen for snacks, he started to say, "I don't think you understand how fast I am. I'm fast as fuck, boy!" Tensei, as he had asked them all to call him, peeked in from the hallway, astonished. How in the motherfucking hell did you get Tenya to swear? Might as well. Cult, wanna join? Without any hesitation, the older Ida brother just replied with, "Fuck it, why not?" On TikTok, a small clip goes viral. Two kids from the Class 1A course of UA High School, supposedly, were the ones who had made this clip. A red-haired boy started to film his face before flipping the camera towards a group of teenagers. There were a purple-haired girl, a short green-haired boy, and a boy who had a lightning bolt thing in his hair. The only person that most recognized was the green-haired boy, Izuku Midoriya, just for his fighting style, or whatever it was, at the sports festival. The camera got slowly closer to said group of teens. A voice called out, presumably the person who was filming. "What do you want to tell Joey Bidvin?" The name of the 420th Prime Minister of Japan currently? "Right now!" The kid with the yellow hair, they really needed to remember their names, looked up and smirked before saying, "What's up, baby? Take me out to dinner." Before doing the F-boy face in rapid succession, which before had stopped with the older generations, but now it was back in full swing. The same voice rung out from the very beginning. "Heyo!" Then a hand covered the screen, and the clip ended. And, as was said before, it went viral. Kirishima points to Aizawa-sensei and Yamada-sensei, who are leaning on each other while Class 1A was training. "And they were roommates." Kaminari snorts and just points to the couple. "My God, they were roommates." Jiro gave a small comment of, "Like you guys in a couple of years?" Which, yes, both Kaminari and Kirishima heard, which right after they fell literally right into each other, causing some quirk accidents to happen. Nothing serious, other than some concrete being destroyed and the lights flickering a couple of times. Aizawa-sensei was mad because they were causing chaos again. Jiro and Mina is mad because they're both such oblivious idiots. And Bakugo was mad because, well, it's Bakugo. So, pretty well-rounded out day for their class. Shoto, Bakugo, and Midoriya were all on their internship with his father. As of right now, they were on a chill patrol, crime not being high today. Father had all bought them some breakfast, some canned coffee and a breakfast sandwich. He was the last one to finish his can. Both Bakugo and Midoriya had already thrown theirs away earlier. Actually, "Bakugo, here, want to take out the trash?" Bakugo just looks at the empty can he's holding out, grabs it, and yells, "This bitch empty! Yeet!" Said can hits his father in the back of the head. He just raged, making his flames bigger to try to figure out who threw it. Shoto just watched in amusement. Said interaction was recorded by someone and then posted online. The title was, "Endeavor gets clowned on by interns and his own child, not clickbait." His father was in a worse mood after that, but still completely worth it. Shigi walked up to her and twice. "Toga, You're a teenager and have TikTok. So what the hell is WAP? But Shiggy, me and Twice are playing Uno. A pause. Well, here goes her afternoon. Do you want to hear the funny versions of it? What it actually stands for? Or the dance? Yes. Twice jumps in front of her face. But Toga, we were playing Uno. Wait, no, I want to know. No, we don't. Yes, we do. His hell class is on their bus again, this time to go to the beach. Shota would say that everything would be fine, and it would be a nice road trip. But he knows something is going to happen. Whether it be villains, his class doing something dumb, or something else. Something will probably happen. Nothing had happened yet. Only a small comment from Kaminari, who had seen a "Road Work Ahead" sign, pointed to said sign and said, "Road work ahead? Yeah, I sure hope it does." Not even 10 minutes later, fucking villains had attacked them. Because, of course, when did him or his class ever get a break? Nothing too bad had happened. Apparently it was some kind of privilege to be able to attack the Class 1A and get away alive. So all that had happened was the bus got flipped and some of the road was broken. Shota was just trying to get over his ultimate demise of fucking 9 pages of paperwork when he heard another comment, this time from Shinso. Welp, the road no longer works like the sign says. He also put on a fake pout, making the entire class cheer up. Midoriya suspiciously more cheered up, but these kids were going to be the death of him, and that's fine with him. Izuku knew a bit of hacking, knew a lot about computers and technology. It, for the most part, went to waste, but in other cases, it was extremely beneficial. One of these scenarios was Hack looking through and copying a video from an old dead website that had been abandoned for a newer version. And to be fair, it wasn't really reposting either, since the website and video hadn't been watched or used for the past 100 years or so. The old title was The Muffin Song, which had fit well, but a newer, more exciting name was needed. New audience, new name, and hence, with some help from First, Muffin Jam was posted on WeTobe. In the description, Izuku put a little note which says, "Hey, join my depressed, sad Gen Z humor cult. Now." Literally. And that's all it took for millions of people to request to join his Gen Z humor cult. And since he had used a little something from the past, might as well use another. All it takes is just some data from First's phone. Still don't know how it works since technically it's a ghost phone. A little coding from May and himself, and boom. Izuku is now an app owner of the app known as Communicord, which, to be fair, is just revised Discord. But also, the owners of Discord were long dead, and people had stopped using it a long time ago. Point being, he's actually making money and has more little gay depressed people in his cult. So it's a win-win. Aizawa-sensei looked so goddamn tired today. Izuku wonders whether it's him, the class, or something else going on that's making him look like that. He had walked into homeroom, sleeping bag and all, looking dead to the world, and then just glared, and is still glaring, at all of them. He finally blinked, sighed, and then spoke with what was the most serious tone they had ever heard him. "Listen, I'm tired of all of your guys'
chaoticness. And so I have decided the next one of you hellspawn that gives me a headache has to listen to what I say.
He was right about the class pissing him off.
And since I'm not a monster, it's either the 10-hour version of the Narwhal song or the 10-hour version of the Baby Shark song.
First, who quite literally appears from hell, becomes his ghost self just to scream, "Oh God, please, no!" He's such a dumbass. First, have I ever told you how much of a dumbass you are? Now Aizawa Sensei is going to beat your ass and make you listen to one of them. First had the very visible reaction of realizing he's a dumbass, before replying back, "Damn, well, he can't do anything because I'm dead." And then just disappeared, probably back into the void hell. Aizawa Sensei just had the look of, "What in the motherfucking hell?" before just shrugging and crawling back into his sleeping bag. Everyone else in the class was definitely confused. He sure would be if a literal ghost appeared in front of him. "First, look at what you've done. Now I'm gonna have to reveal one for all to the rest of the class. Thanks a lot." First's voice echoed in his head. "Oops, I can make it up to you by getting more memes off my ghost phone." "Fine, but they better be awesome." Aizawa Sensei had crawled out the door. Homeroom was probably over, and now everyone was asking questions. Okay, geez, let me explain why there was a ghost." Rody had finally had the time to visit. Izuku wanted him to come for one, being his friend, and two, being the next step in world domination. The next step in making his cult bigger. Yes, cult. Definitely not world domination. Why would you even think that? In half English, half Japanese, Rody introduces himself. "Hello, Deku's classmates. I'm Rody Soul, I know you do things with last names, but just stick to Rody. It'll make more sense to me." He then whispers in his ear, "I have spread your cult, or whatever, across many parts of Europe. Thank me later." Which he just giggles to. "Thank you, Rody, but now we've got to introduce you to my classmates." Kaminari, just in ear reach, says to Kirishima, "Oh my god, look, a broship." Kirishima responds with, "Like us." Jiro comes up behind both of them and whispers something in their ears. Something Izuku can't hear. Whatever it was probably something to do with teasing them about how they're clearly pining for each other. There's a tap on his shoulder, who, once Izuku turns around, he sees Shinso. "Oh, Shinso! Okay, Rody, meet Shinso. Shinso, meet Rody. Now shake hands." While speaking, he's physically moving Rody and Shinso's hands to meet each other and shake, both of them having very awkward looks on their face. After Shinso leaves to go find a snack, Rody, with Pino on his head, turns to him. "Okay, cult things later. How'd you get that purple-haired guy to date you?" "What? No. I don't know what you're talking about." "Come on. It's so obvious you like each other." "Stop! Not till you admit you have a crush." "No." If you were to look in the teacher's dorm's windows, around lunchtime, you would see Eri and Rody's siblings standing still, in a T-pose, standing over Aizawa looking close to a mental breakdown. And if you had advanced hearing, you would hear a duck song, X muffin song, X baby shark remix playing on repeat. Pikachu on drugs.
So, me and Kiri got together. The Rock. I wanted to be the one to say it.
Pink growl. So, I was right? Pikachu on drugs.
Sadly, yes.
Music for ears.
My depression, it's cleared.
Music for ears.
My crops, watered.
Music for ears.
My skin, clear.
Music for ears.
Hotel, Trivago.
Music for ears.
I can die happy and ascend to another plane. God's work is complete. Whomst?
Damn, when did you become religious? Music for ears.
Shut.
Pink growl. Now time for Shindeku teasing time. Cinnamon roll.
What?
Fluffy cat.
What are you talking about?
Pink growl. Honeys, we all done knew. Izuku stood on Endeavor's counters, while Endeavor looked like he was having a mental breakdown. Todoroki's brother and sister were watching from the door of the kitchen. Continuing to T-pose for dominance, Izuku repeated the same thing he's been repeating for the last hour.
We've been trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty.
Endeavor must have finally had enough, because he stood up abruptly.
What are you doing in my house? What are you doing in my house?
Walked right into that one.
I want waffle fries.
Endeavor paused, probably not expecting that answer.
If I give you waffle fries, will you go away?
Yes. Endeavor slowly moves to the freezer. And then him, the Todoroki siblings, and himself all watch in silence as waffle fries cook in the microwave. Eventually, the microwave beeps, and the waffle fries are set in front of him. Izuku just grabs 2 handfuls of them before starting to go out the window. And before leaving, he says,
Baby, I'm not even here. I'm a hallucination.
Cinnamon roll.
My children, I have some memes for you.
Memes.imgs.
Spread the memes. I believe you can do it.
Music for ears.
Yes, Father.
A murder.
I believe in me as well.
Fluffy cat.
Have I ever told you how much I love you?
Cinnamon roll.
What?
Fluffy cat.
I mean, like you. Like a friend.
Pink growl. Will the pining ever end? Music for ears.
Maybe if we tease them enough, it will happen. Like Kaminari and Kirishima.
Pikachu on drugs.
Wait, where did you get this?
Pikachu on drugs.
These memes.
Cinnamon roll.
Ghost phone?
Cinnamon roll. Dramatic crying. Fluffy cat.
Why are you crying?
Cinnamon roll.
Gender,
cries more. Pikachu on drugs.
My condolences.
Cinnamon roll.
Do not perceive me at this time.
Cry. Shinso had pinned Izuku against a wall, which would have made him more flustered if he hadn't said what he said into his ear.
You like jazz?
Izuku just shoved him off, making Shinso fall to the floor.
Fuck off!
Shinso gasped, the audacity of this man, and put his hand over his heart, like he was praying or something.
My angel swore at me?
Another gasp from him. He just flipped him back. It's what he deserves. Meanwhile, Shinso had the man was too stunned to speak face on, and then just laughed. And while both of them didn't see it, Mina, Denki, Kirishima, and Jiro were all nearby, hiding behind a wall. All of them giggling and sharing knowing looks. And also making an extremely good, so good it's concerning, IRL Lenny face. But that isn't important. Midoriya was sitting on Todoroki's bed. I am feelings. I have... The feelings are hard. Todoroki sat across from Midoriya on a desk chair. Spill the tea, sis. But not on my face. Shinso shuffled across from Izuku. Izuku does the same. So, why am I here? I guess we... here? Shinso's face turned bright pink. Do you want to go on a date with me? Only if you promise that if you propose to me, you do it with a ring pop. What? Did I stutter? Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Shinso's face had turned a brighter shade of pink. So, date at the cat cafe downtown? Izuku nodded his head yes, feeling his face grow hotter. Tokoyami walked up to both Hitoshi and Izuku, the latter two watching a TV show on the couch. Mido, did you know that you have a fan base / cult thing around the world now? Hitoshi, who unfortunately was in the middle of drinking a monster, spit it out. Excuse me, what the fuck, Izuku? Izuku had already known, but might as well pretend not to. Can't let his plan slip out too early. Sick! How many people? Tokoyami looked down at his phone and held it out for Hitoshi and him to see. On the phone was a Twitter account named Deku Fan Page, with the bio saying, Gen Z Deku Supremacy, aka the Cult of Deku. 4.2 billion. There's one fan account on Twitter with that many followers. And they're like the official reporter group thing on you. There's probably more on other platforms, but about that many. Aizawa must have overheard, because he walked into the common room with Eri. I'm sorry, but what? Eri ran up to him and climbed on his lap. Oh my god, Deku, you're famous! Slay! Yes, I'm a material girl! Aizawa sighed and gave Eri her bag of apples. I regret letting you babysit Eri. And that is all for this podfic. And the chaos just continues. The part with Endeavor, that part especially, just imagining Endeavor just there with Izuku T-posing and then Endeavor just cooking waffle fries, that had me going. That just absolutely sent me. This was hilarious, like always. All of the good old memes. And Izuku was starting a cult? Well, a global cult, I should say. The cult has already started, but specifically a cult with the intention of world domination. Looking a little bit like Offer One there, but with the power of memes. Honestly, the better world ruler, dictator, whatever. Yes, sure. We can put Izuku in charge of the world. It'll only go horribly wrong, but it'll be funny. But yeah, this is fun. The next installment. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. You probably have if you're around on the 5th one of these. But, you know, technically you don't need to listen to the other one, so maybe this is your first one. And I hope you guys have enjoyed. As always, link to the original is in the description. Go leave a kudos. Go leave a comment. Whatever wherever you can. I am sure the original author appreciates it. Anyway, that is all for this time. I will see you guys next time.